today's lesson, we're going to be creating the Spencer design within AutoCAD. So go ahead and open up your AutoCAD drawing. And if you're following the textbook, it asks you to open up a default template. So, and take a look and analyze the size. Notice that you've got symmetrical left to right, and you've got two radiuses on the ends and two holes. All right, so what we're going to do here is we go essentially to New, and you're going to create a new document based on this AutoCAD settings. All right, so you don't really need to worry about all that, but it's just defaulting into a certain template. All right, so what we'll do then is we're going to set up the units. And so this is the precision that we're going to do, and tenths, hundredths, so 0.00, and we want to kind of follow what the textbook is. And everything else looks pretty good here. And push OK. All right, so we need to start building this part. So before we do that, it's asking us to look at the drawing limits. Now, I typically don't do this, but what it essentially is doing is if you look at the very bottom right, you'll see 23 point, you'll see it moving. It's defining what the size of the work environment is here for you. So if you need to right click, and it should automatically default to this 12 by 9. And again, if it's not working for you, it's not really all that critical. Because you can always, when you're building it, I have you start at the 0, 0, and it's a fixed size part that you're making anyway. Okay. So then you can look at your settings. If you click on the snap settings, there's a couple things that I tend to do. The textbook wants you to use the snap on. I find this very difficult, but increments of ½ inch can be helpful. And then I always have the polar tracking. You're going to want to make sure that you have these three: the center, the midpoint, and the end point selected. And if you don't have those, it's not going to work for you for this project. All right. Okay, so this is just some of the formalities that the textbook's asking you to do, so make sure that you follow them. Now, if you're looking at this drawing, you're going to notice that you essentially have a rectangle with two radiuses on the outside. So what we're going to do is just first build this rectangle, knowing that we've got this radius of 1.5 inches, and so that means that the height of it is going to be 3 inches. And so I always start at 0, 0. It just makes things much easier. Now there's different ways of doing this, but the fastest way I found is you just point the mouse in the direction, making sure that polar snap is on, so it's going at 90 degrees. And then I typed in the height, which was 3 inches. And then if I hit the cube, that top, it'll automatically center the scale around the part size. All right, so then I'll go take that line, and I'll start at 0, 0 again, and then type in 3 and push, actually 6, push enter, and then I have half of it built here. So my snap setting is already selected, so it's going to snap, and I'll move that out to the right. Now this time I'm actually going to go 2 inches because I'm following the Spencer design part, and I'm going to come down 0.5 inches. So I'm going to type that in and then push enter. And once I have that in, I'll move my mouse to the right. Looking at my drawing, it goes over 2 inches. I'll type in 2. I'll come up 0.5 and go over 2 inches. And then I can either type it or just go ahead and snap and then push enter. So I have my rectangle essentially built, and I need to put the two radiuses on the end at 1.5 inches. And so I'll probably need to confirm these dimensions before I get too far ahead of myself. So let's go to dimension above. And because my snap is set, I'm just going to come down, and you want to do this similar to what the way the book has laid this out. So snap the points that you need. and it looks pretty good so far. All right, so now what I need to do is put these radiuses on the caps and these circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the arc and go to center, start, end. All right, center, start, end. And make sure that these objects settings are done here. The O snap has to be the midpoint or this will not work. All right, so again, we're going to center, start, end. I click the center. It goes counterclockwise. So I'm going to go down, click it, and then I'm going to just rotate that up to the end. All right, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Center, and this time I'll go to the top because it's going counterclockwise, and I'll click it. So it has automatically created the 1.5 inch radius for me. So I can delete that. However, I actually want to keep that there because I'm going to put a circle in. Now, it can work without that line. AutoCAD's pretty smart. It'll actually know where the center of that circle is based on that radius. But this time we're going to go to circle, and for the small one, we want to go diameter. All right, so circle, diameter, click the center, and then simply type in the diameter, which is 1.25, and then push enter. All right, and then I'll do the same to the other side, and type in the same diameter, 1.25, and now I can get rid of those lines. All right, so it might look like we're done, but we've got a lot more to do here. Okay, so the part is essentially built, but what we need to do now is dimension it properly and put all the center lines and additional materials. All right, so what we'll do here is if you go to the center mark on the modifier, you'll notice that it'll automatically put that in there for you. All right, so that's a great feature to be able to do. And that's the dimension. You just click the circle and it'll automatically put the center mark in there for you. All right, and then typically you don't actually, you need to have a gap there between that center mark. So if you put the dimension line on it, it'll automatically, it's already defaulted in the settings. There should be a little gap there. So make sure you have a gap. This is showing a little bigger gap, but we're fine, just as long as that is not touching. All right, and so if you click on the dimension there on the side, there's an arrow, and if you're dimensioning a circle, a full circle, it should be a diameter, but if it's not a full circle, you should always dimension it to be a radius. I actually teach that in the 119 class. We don't really do a lot of teaching how to do dimensioning in this class. We just are following the textbook because it's so many menus here. All right, so again, now what I need to do is make a line coming the center, and I'm starting from the center. I move to the left, I click it, and I drag it to the right. So now I've got a line, but it is not a center line. And in AutoCAD, what you need to do to make it a center line is you click it, and then you need to go into the line styles here. So what we'll do is go to our format, and you're going to see line type. And I click on line type, and you don't see it here, so you have to load it in. And so we're looking for a center line. So scroll down, and the reason why these are different is actually dependent on the size of your drawing. So let's just put 2 in, for example, so you can see. So we're going to put in 2 of the center lines, and then you push OK. Now, on your computer, if it's at home, it may stay there forever, but with these ones that are cloud-based, you typically have to do it every single time. All right, so now we're going to go into our properties, and we're going to say to the line type, we want to do the center. And so you can try either one of them, and you'll see they're just spaced a little bit differently. All right, so we've got that center line there, and make sure you have it properly. We're going to finish dimensioning and then plot the part. So let's go to properties here. And if you notice, you can select the dimensions. You don't need to hold the shift key down. Just go ahead and select the dimensions in AutoCAD. And so click all the dimensions, and then you can right click and hit properties, or you go up and you can do it to the modify. So once you have the properties open, we just want to change the precision on this. All right, so right now we're going to do it after the fact. I'm going to teach you in a couple more lessons how to do it beforehand, but for now we can just after the fact do it. And then the other thing you're going to notice is the line weight of the part must be differentiated with the dimensions. Otherwise, it's very easy in complicated drawings to not see what's the dimension or what the part is and such. So select all the parts, and then you can either go to the modify and hit the properties, or right click and hit properties. And this time we want to go to the line weight, and we're going to go at 0.5. And it really depends on how you're outputting. Sometimes it's too thick. And then remember, on the bottom, you have a bar, the 3 bars, and that'll make it so you can see it. And I've clicked that. All right. So, and then here's a dimension that got that accidentally, so I can go back and change it. Looking pretty good so far here. I do notice here's another, that circle needs to get done too. So let's finish dimensioning this. So I'm going to just make a line. Trying to snap that on there, but let's just go ahead and pretty close. All right, so let's see here. All right, and let's put our text in there. All right. So go ahead and type your name. Different ways of doing it. This way, just type text. Chapter 1. You want to make sure you do this on all the drawings so that you know and I know what the part is. And then your name, and then click out of it and hit escape. And then you can always click it and move it, and you can always go back in the properties and change it. We don't want it to be too large. This is probably on the larger size, but for now, for the demonstration, this will help you. Okay. All right. And I notice that I have yet to do that. All right, so let's save this. We're going to print it as it is. I know there's an error in here, but that's okay. Let's just keep working here. Save this as an AutoCAD PDF, high quality print, and I'm going to go Window. This is a very handy tool here. But before you print it, always preview it. That way you know exactly what you're going to see, and this including the line weights. All right, so and then when you're happy with it, go ahead and print it, and make sure it's in a folder that you can easily access, so you can upload this. All right, so far so good. I have to knock a point off of this for the line weight, but that's okay. And then you want to select in Canvas within the drop box, select the spacer design, and then choose the file. And I need you to put both the AutoCAD file and the PDF. I grade the PDF. I don't grade the DWG, but in case you lose it or there's a problem, you have access to it because you can always download this later through the files. And then submit the assignments, and you have completed the spacer design project.